Welcome to Dad's a Nerd, uh, the Iron Man build part 1. So, want to give an overview and breakdown of some of the different things that we had been doing as a part of the Iron Man build for Peter's costume coming up for Halloween. Once again, welcome, super excited to have you. So, was able to get a template offline, found someone online who was able to give me all the things needed. So I just dove right into it. I want to get this helmet made. And the sad part about this helmet is that I made it, and after taking all the time to build it, I found out it was actually too small for either of my boys' heads, and I'm making it for my older son, who's 9. So I had to go back to square one, reprint it, and actually redesign it all out. And in the meantime, continued working on some of the different pieces. So here's the back portion of the Iron Man build, all the markings where it would be. Doing some test fitting of it along with the ab section onto Peter. Trying to get those ideas of how well certain items would fit and how they're going to line up. Started progressing forward on into the cod piece, and once again just trying to see along the way what modifications or changes would need to be made in order to make sure that it fits as best as possible. Peter's been a good sport about any time that I need him to try something on or get an idea of what's happening there. He's always willing to, stop whatever he's doing, stop playing with his brother or on the iPad or whatever he may be doing at that time to come take a look and see what could be, what his costume will look like, because he knows it's going to end up looking better than any of the other costumes out there. So you'll see here, that's the updated helmet, some thinner foam, a little bit bigger of a build, and you're going to see kind of some transitions here of some of the progress that's been made, some details being added, and just smaller things that may not be as noticeable as beginning to refine that process. So the goal will be cutting out that arc reactor center, and as we cut that out, I actually have, you'll see in a little bit, custom built light for the arc reactor that I built, so that way we can install that behind the chest plate and actually have it glowing as he does that. So started working on getting the arms in place and shoulder components. You'll notice there's a lot of pins holding things together in order to make sure that it would kind of stay up and I could analyze kind of where things were at, how they were looking, anything along those lines. So coming up, you'll see here, gave Peter, this was one of the first big test fittings we had of everything on the upper body from the hips up. So want to at least get some sizing, learn that we needed to expand some of the sides and different pieces based off of that. So you look here, you'll see kind of bowing out in the back, needed to be able to clamp that down better. Things here are looking pretty good, as well as in the next two angles. That upper body piece is looking really, really good. So as I talked about earlier, I built a what would be the arc reactor, and when it's out and like this, doesn't look so great. As you see it up against the actual armor, it starts to paint a little bit better picture of what that's going to end up looking like, as well as started getting those next components, the legs built out. To creep out my boys, I after building out the legs, I stacked the armor up just at the end of the hall here, so that when they came out of their room, there was just this dark figure out there looming before they could come out of the hallway. So, like I said, this is all the armor kind of built, some things still being pinned together, held together, and so once I got it all finalized and glued, it was time for the actual first test fitting of the entire outfit. And so here we have both boys trying on, Peter's trying on the armor right before bed. So making sure he can put out his legs, move his arms, want to check what his mobility was, just so he could get a good feel. He's never done a costume of this size, and when I did my Buzz Lightyear, I know that it was pretty hard to move about as we built things in. So just like I said, getting a good idea of how he feels about it, how comfortable he is moving around in it, and naturally there will be other things we put in place to make it even more comfortable for him moving forward. Overall, I've been really pleased with how this has been going, how the build's been working out. Needed to fill in some of the gaps or pieces that needed some filler, and then slowly started to work my way into painting. So hopefully there'll be a part 2 of this video coming soon as I finish out some of the foam painting and more of the detail work in there.